So England versus Wales, I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous as an England fan. It's always a great game. We've got the teams out, plenty to talk about. Now, we did get some clues with leaks, with squads being shortened, of what the teams might be like, but definitely still some surprises and plenty of interesting things. So let's get into this England team, the home team at Twickenham, with fans back, first time for ages. And the front row is Eddie Jones's first choice front row of Genge, Cowan-Dickie and Sinclair. Sinclair picking up his 50th cap. That kind of snuck up on me there. Genge looks like his number one choice loose head. Still not perfect all the time, but lots of potential, and is a leader now, a vice captain as well. So clearly Jones is putting his hat in the ring there with Genge. The experienced Marler on the bench for him. Stewart on the bench for Sinclair. Still not completely convinced with Stewart, but let's see how he goes. The Cowan-Dickie call with George must have been close, because George is playing well, but Cowan-Dickie still hanging on there in there. He'll need a big game, to be fair. In the second row, we have Itoje, as expected, but who was he going to go with? To me, it looked like it was going to be Launchbury until he got dropped from the squad. Was he not fit enough? I don't know. It seemed lined up nicely for Launchbury to the big number 5. They've gone for Ewells to be that big number 5. And Ewells he's a fantastic attitude. What a great worker. I know why coaches love him. Is he world class? Well, no. He's a hard grafter. Like him a lot, but it could be an area where Wales have a look and say, well, we've got Beard, who he thinks a better number 5. Anyway, the back row, though, is their strongest back row, I think, of Laws back in as the captain as well, taking over the captaincy from Curry, who gets to stay at open side. I think that's brilliant. Keep him at open side. That's his best position. Laws is going great at 6. And Dombrandt, I think this is more evidence that he is Eddie's number 1, number 8 now. He's obviously going to have to earn that and keep that, but it looks like he's got that fight over Simmons for now, and Simmons is the perfect replacement on the bench, really, covering all those positions in the back row. Ezekwe's there covering second row, but maybe he's covering 6 as well, or you can move people around like Itoje, so plenty of cover there, back row and second row. Now, the big call, the huge call, the one that we probably didn't think was coming, is Randall starts. Now, this is England against Wales at home with the Six Nations on the line almost. If England lose this, they're out of the Six Nations. So we were all expecting Youngs to start. I think in all the comments, everyone was saying, we want Randall to start, but we're pretty sure Youngs will start. But Eddie Jones has surprised us. He definitely has eyes. There it is confirmed. He has eyes. He can see that Randall was much better to Youngs in the last match, and when Youngs came on, the whole thing slowed down. And Randall gets to start with Smith. It's what we wanted to see. I hope they go well, but at least it's exciting. Also in the back line, the big news is Manu Tuilagi is back. Now, the note I've put by this is just discuss. Yes, we're over-reliant. Yes, we don't have any other power options, mainly because Eddie Jones refuses to play any other power options. Atkinson was the obvious one, but he keeps dropping him. So Tuilagi's back in. Is he fit enough? Can he go the full game? I don't think he can. What would happen if he has to come off? Well, I guess Daly goes into 13 and Slade to 12. Or they go for the smallest midfield ever and get Ford on in the midfield with Smith. But that'll be interesting to see how long he lasts and if he can stay fit. And talking of staying fit, Jack Nowell is there on the wing. Fantastic. We have one specialist winger at last. I hope he actually gets to play the whole match, stays fit and just works really hard, because he is an exciting guy in and around the ruck area. Loads of energy. Fantastic to see him back, but hasn't played for England for ages, and that little cameo where he went off the HIA doesn't really count. Hasn't gone for any other specialist wingers. No Radwan, no Hassel-Collins. They are all dropped from the squad. Malin stays at 14, and I think he deserves it because he's been playing well, but still not sure he's an out-and-out winger, but he is a very good high-skilled player. Do we get to see him at 15 at some point? I doubt it, actually. I think Stewart will continue to play pretty much all the minutes. He stays at 15. Bench I've mentioned there in the forwards. Youngs on the bench at scrum half. When he comes on, he will be the most capped England player ever. He's been fantastic for England, had plenty of good games for England throughout the years. Has he been picked a few too many times? That is the debate, but he will be the most capped ever over Jason Leonard. Then we have Ford there covering 10, and Daly, who arguably maybe doesn't deserve his slot, but he does cover everywhere. I think he'll need a big game when he comes on to prove that he deserves it. I was maybe looking for Marchant on the bench. Anyway, that's the England team, and I think it is the strongest England team we've seen so far for this massive game. Get the comments on what you think about that England team. On to Wales. Pretty much as expected, few tweaks here and there. Front row, completely solid. Second row, completely solid. They've settled on that. That's good to get that continuity. And they have been very good in the set piece, really hard working. Sure, maybe they're not doing the fancy stuff, but that's not really what Wales are doing at the moment, full stop. So yeah, I think it makes sense there. On the bench, the young Lake, Thomas, Brown gets a chance at tight head. Lots of talk that maybe he could push in there into first choice tight head eventually in time for the World Cup. So big chance for him. Then we've got Seb Davis. Jack Morgan drops to the bench because we do get Talupi Faletau back in. I thought he would be straight back in, and they've slotted him in at 8. I thought maybe he'd go in at 6 and they'd keep Moriarty at 8. Many of you guys said they'd do what they've done here and move Moriarty to 6 and get Faletau into his best position at 8 and bash him at 7. Looks like their best back row so far. Obviously eyes on Faletau's fitness, but he's the sort of guy who has great fitness and work ethic. So I think it's a big boost. Best pack so far. Little bit of solidity there as well, continuity and the boost of Faletau. That's definitely good news for Wales. Halfbacks, Thomas Williams and Biggar, clearly first choice, going well together, like that, keeping them there. Then a bit of change in the back line. Halaholo, I think maybe was going to start if he was fit, but then picked up an annoying eye injury. So we have Tompkins and Watkin, and I'm not 100% sure that is, as exciting as maybe it could be. A bit unconvinced. We've got Jonathan Davis on the bench, who's very solid, but he looks very good defensively. I don't know if it's got enough in that midfield to really open up. Although they've got Adams back on the wing, first chance he actually gets to play his best position. He's been Wales' best winger for a few years now, so that's a good boost. And on the other wing, Lewis Rees-Zammit is dropped. Now that was rumoured, and it was something even before it was rumoured I'd said should probably happen, even though I was going to drop him to the bench. He's out of the squad entirely. Cuthbert, who had a decent game last time out, stays on the wing. England will probably be fairly relieved they don't have to deal with that Lewis Rees-Zammit express pace even from the bench. So you can look at that both ways, but you can't argue that it wasn't coming with the mistakes that he's made. Liam Williams looking classy at fullback, so he obviously stays. Then a few more changes on the bench with Hardy and Anscombe coming in. I think it's worth a change up. Gareth Davis and Sheedy haven't been amazing, particularly Sheedy doesn't look to come on and actually add particularly anything different. Anscombe, if he's back to his best, could do that. Hardy pushing out Gareth Davis is quite a big call as well, as interesting to see. And then, like I said, the experience of Jonathan Davis there. How do I see this game going? Well, as I said in my previous videos, I do see England as the favourites, especially because they're at home. I think it's their best team so far, but as many of you in the comments remind me, Wales love being written off. Keep doing it, you say. Wales, I'm sure, are going to turn up and put in a huge shift. Do they have enough stardust? Do they have enough to break down England? I don't know. I'm not so sure if England can perform well, but if they don't perform well and Wales keep grinding, I think they can definitely win this. It's an exciting match. Wales-England are always really close. I hope it's high scoring and the weather's okay. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of those teams. Would you change anything? And I'll catch you next time.